What's up, YouTube? It's Chris with Murphy Firearms Training out here on a crisp spring morning, and I have the 44 Magnum here. This is the Taurus Tracker in 44 Magnum. Not my gun. It is one I have on loan from someone, but my son got a 44 Magnum rifle, and so I'm doing some load development, and I don't want to shoot his rifle, so I'm using this pistol for load development. So I got some loads that I've loaded up, and I want to walk you through the process how we do it, okay? So anyway, here we go. Let's get set up. Let's do some shooting. Depending on what I'm loading, pistol or rifle, as to how I do my load development. So for rifle, I start at the minimum, and I load a half a grain, half a grain, half a grain. So I go, let's say the minimum is 40, just for an example, 40 grains of a specific powder. I'll load 3 rounds of 40, 3 rounds of 40.5, 3 rounds of 41, all the way up to the maximum. And then I come out to the range with the chronograph. I have a target set up, and I'm looking for what's the group size and what's the chronograph tell me. And as powder charge increases, I want the velocity to increase. And if I ever get to a point where velocity is not increasing, but the powder charge increased, I'm going to stop. The other thing I'm going to walk you through today, guys, is how to examine your brass. So you should do that after every 3-round group. Today for handguns, what I'm doing is I'm doing handgun load development. The way I do handgun loads, because I mean, we're shooting 7, 10, maybe 15 yards. So I'm not looking for the most accurate, super great, whatever. So if your minimum is 40 and your maximum is 44, I typically go right down the middle, 42, maybe 41, maybe even to the minimum of 40, but somewhere in that lower half of the load. And I'll load up some, and I'll bring them out, and I'll shoot them. And what I'm looking for is they accurate enough. If they're accurate enough, I'm good. And accurate enough is I've got a target set up at 15 yards. Will it hit my target like I want to? And then do they extract easily? And are there any signs of pressure? Okay, and is the velocity consistent? So I've got my Garmin chronograph set up here. There's the Garmin set up here. I've got my tracker. I've got my loaded rounds. This is 23.8 grains of little gun, 44 Magnum. We're gonna run them over the Garmin, and we're gonna see what they do. We're shooting at this steel target that's just downrange, this round steel target that's just downrange next to that pink helium tank. And basically, can I hit that target, and what do the velocity readings say? So let's get set up and let's do some shooting. And so what we're going to do is we want to be 5 to 15 inches above. So I've got my pistol here. Let me get my camera set so you can see me shooting here. And I'm going to be shooting somewhere about right here, aiming down range. So I'm a little off to the left for the Garmin and a little above it. And we're going to see how that does. So I think that'll work. Actually going to scoot the Garmin back just a little bit. The cylinder gap on this 44 Magnum, you don't want to line it up with your chronograph because you will get some hot gases come out. So we want to be in front of the chronograph. That looks really good to me. So we're gonna get that all set, and we're gonna start shooting. So eyes and ears are on. Let's load this thing up. I'm gonna go ahead and load all 5. I may or may not regret that decision. This 44 Magnum likes to bite my hand. So anyway, we got 5 loaded. Let's lock our cylinder, and let's see what we get. All right, so she's ready to go. Let's aim and fire. So get this grip right. All right, good hit. 1342. Shot a little low there. I think I flinched. Let's try to relax. Hit. 1340. I don't know where that went. 1348. Let's try that one. Definitely hit that one. Whoo! 1363.5. So 5 shots, and we're looking at an average. The chronograph shows an average of 1335.6. And that's probably not bad for that particular round. And so here's what I'm looking for now that I've shot these. So let me put that back in. So there we go. So we got these 5 back in. So what am I looking for is, number 1, do these extract pretty easily? And they do. They extract easily. That's number 1 with a revolver. If you're reloading a revolver, does it extract easily? Number 2, I'm going to look at the brass. Do I see any case mouth splitting, any bulges, anything like, especially back here at the back of the case near the rim? These extracted easily. The other thing I'm looking at is the primer. So I'm looking at my primer. These primers look good. They're a little flat, but I expect that with a Magnum pistol. These primers should still be intact and in place very nicely. So they're a little flat, but nothing to be concerned about. What you're looking for, and you can see this in a reloading manual, is when these are so flat that you can tell the corners of the primers have now become sharp. And I want to show you one. I have a particular, it's a factory load, as a matter of fact, a factory load that flattens primers really badly. And I shot it earlier today. So this is the 44 Magnum, and you see the corners of the primer still look a little rounded, like you can see where the primer rounds to go into the pistol. Here is a 327 Federal Magnum. This is a Federal American Eagle load, and if you look at that real close, if you look at that primer pocket, you actually can see, and especially when you reload these, when you drive these out, you'll see that that primer pocket is, honest to goodness, it's square. Like when that primer comes out, it is a square. There is no round at all to that. It's really starting to flatten out. You can see, actually feel a little rough spot where the primer has deformed slightly around the firing pin. You won't feel that on this one. So that's a good looking, that is a good looking primer. It's not not flattening out. These are pretty good. I'm going to shoot them a little more, see how accurate they are, but I'm real happy with that. So I'm going to chronograph 5 more and make sure they extract nice, and then see what the average velocity is in the extreme spread. 80 feet per second is not bad so far, but I'm going to load up 5 more. So let's load up 5 more. Well, it looks like those 5 shots will be all we get from the 44 mag today, because every time I close this cylinder, it does this. You close the cylinder and it pops back open. It won't stay shut. And what's happening is your little rod here, that's on the other end of your extractor rod, is sticking into the star here. And so you see, if I jar it, it'll pop out, but if I close it, it doesn't poke out. And of course, for this gun, you see that it's unloaded. Before I turn it around, it has to go into that spot right there for the gun to lock up and function. Okay, so if you close this and try to pull the hammer back, it will not function because the gun thinks it's open. And if I do that 3 or 4 times, this thing pops back out. But then as soon as I close it, it's stuck. So we're gonna have to take this home and work on it. So we're done with the 44 Magnum today. So anyway, 5 shots, average reading 1335.6, extreme spread 80 for 5 shots. I'd have a handgun. That's not bad. I'm not gonna cry about it. That makes me happy. So I'm happy with these loads. They don't show any pressure signs. So I really wanted to shoot 15 or 20 of them. I brought 20 to shoot. So, but we're going to stop with what we got and be happy with it. And it's good to shoot in his rifle. And the next time you see these loads, hopefully they'll be coming out of his beautiful Eagle Scout rifle. Thanks, guys.